Okay, try to leave Apple. Seriously, try it. Say you wake up tomorrow and decide you're done. You want an Android phone. Watch what happens. First, the green bubble thing kicks in, so now you're the friend who ruined the group chat. Your photos? Years of them are sitting in iCloud and they do not want to come out. Your Apple Watch is now a bracelet. The AirPods start acting weird. That app you paid for, gone, doesn't transfer. Your passwords, Apple Pay, your notes, the Mac that talks to the phone, that talks to the earbuds, all of it breaks at once. You're not switching phones. You're trying to emigrate. And Apple is the world's most polite border guard, smiling at you the whole time it refuses to let you leave. Here's the thing though, that stuck feeling isn't a bug. It's not Apple being sloppy about letting you go. That feeling is the product. Apple isn't really in the business of selling you a phone. It's in the business of making sure you never leave. The phone's just the welcome gift they hand you at the door. I'm Max with no face, no job, and a detective hat I refuse to take off. We've already cracked a restaurant that was secretly real estate and a warehouse that was secretly a subscription. Today it's the biggest company on the planet. Let's follow the money. Ask anyone how Apple makes money and you get the same answer. iPhones, duh. And fair enough, they're not wrong exactly. The iPhone is still about half of everything Apple sells. Half of a company doing over $400 billion a year. So yeah, that's a lot of phones. But this is where it gets weird. The iPhone is not really where Apple's profit is going anymore. There's this whole other business tucked inside Apple, and it quietly turned into the most profitable thing they do. It's called services. Boring name. Absolute monster underneath. So what's in there? The App Store and the cut Apple takes on basically everything sold in it. iCloud, which is that monthly storage fee you pay because your phone is somehow always full. Apple Music, Apple TV, Apple Care, Apple Pay, ads. Oh, and a giant check from Google every year just to be the default search on your phone. That last one's wild once you notice it. And here's the thing about all of that. None of it is a thing. You can't hold any of it. Apple doesn't build it in a factory or ship it in a box. Yet in 2025, this invisible business cleared $100 billion for the first time. $100 billion from making essentially nothing. Now stay with me, because this next bit is the whole case. We need to talk about margins. Margin just means of every dollar that comes in the door, how much does Apple actually get to keep? When they sell you an iPhone, that's a real physical object. Glass, chips, a battery, a factory, shipping, the whole expensive mess. After all that, Apple keeps about 36 cents on the dollar, which honestly is great for hardware. Most gadget companies would kill for 36%, but a dollar from services? Apple keeps around 75 cents of it because there's almost nothing to pay for. The software already exists. The next download, the next iCloud subscription, it costs them next to nothing to hand over. So every services dollar is worth more than double an iPhone dollar in actual profit. And here's the kicker, services is only about a quarter of what Apple sells, but it throws off something like 40% of the profit, a quarter of the sales, nearly half the money they keep. And in late 2025, for the first time ever, services quietly passed the iPhone as Apple's single biggest source of profit. At this point, Maya said the exact thing you're probably thinking. Okay, but people still buy the iPhone first. So isn't the phone still the actual business? And that's the trap. That's the whole thing right there. You've got it backwards. Here's the flip, and once you see it, you genuinely can't unsee it. You think you buy the iPhone and the services are just nice extras on top. Apple sees it the complete opposite way round. To them, the iPhone isn't the thing they're selling you. The iPhone is the doorway. It's how they get you inside. And once you're inside, the actual business starts, charging you a little at a time. Basically, forever. Look at what the phone does for them. The second it's in your hand, you've got iCloud, and about a week later, it's full, and now you're paying every month without even thinking about it. You buy apps, Apple takes a cut, you subscribe to stuff through the phone, cut off that too, then you get the watch that only really works with the phone, the AirPods that pair best with the phone, the Mac that unlocks with the phone. So the phone doesn't actually make Apple the most money. The phone is the thing that makes all the other money possible. It's the doorway, and they've spent 20 years quietly making sure it only swings one way. This is the part that's honestly kind of genius. In an evil genius way, a doorway's no use to Apple if you can just wander back out of it. So they built walls, not to keep you out, to keep you in. And they built them out of the stuff you actually like. Take iMessage, the blue bubbles. This might be the smartest lock ever built, and here's why. Apple got your friends to guard the door instead of doing it themselves. iPhone to iPhone, everything's blue and smooth. One Android person shows up in the group chat and suddenly it's all green and clunky and who broke the chat? So if you leave, you become the green bubble ruining everyone's day. That's not a tech limitation, by the way. They could fix it. It's a wall, painted a color. Then there's your photos, years of them, all in iCloud. Getting them out and into something else is a real pain. And Apple's counting on the fact that you'll just never get around to it. Every photo you snap is another brick. And then the whole ecosystem should be... And notice that word, ecosystem, because it's a genuinely sneaky bit of branding. Sounds lovely, right? Natural, like a garden. What it actually means is that every device makes the others harder to quit. The watch needs the phone, the AirPods love the phone, the Mac leans on the phone. So every new Apple thing you buy isn't just a gadget, it's one more reason you can't leave. You think you're building a collection, you're laying bricks, and by the time you've got the phone, the watch, the earbuds, the laptop, the storage, plus the family group chat, leaving Apple stops being a shopping decision, it's a divorce. And nobody divorces their whole digital life to save a bit on a phone. So why does this make Apple almost impossible to beat? For the same reason, Costco's Loop was impossible to copy. The pieces all protect each other. Apple's got something like 2.5 billion active devices out there. Think about that as 2.5 billion doorways, each one attached to a person who can be gently charged month after month for storage and apps and music and whatever else. Apple doesn't have to win you back every year. They've already got you. The iCloud fee, the App Store cut, the Apple Care, it all rolls in whether or not you buy a new phone, which is why Apple can do this thing that looks bizarre from the outside. They genuinely don't mind if you keep your old iPhone for 5 or 6 years. A normal hardware company would panic, no upgrade, no sale, no money. Apple just shrugs. Because you're still paying for iCloud, still buying apps, still inside the walls, still paying rent. The hardware sale was never the goal. The hardware sale was just move-in day. And look, it's the same pattern every time. McDonald's, the burgers get you to the land. Costco, the products get you to the membership. Apple, the phone gets you to the subscriptions. Every single case, the thing on the sign is the attraction. The thing that actually pays is standing quietly right behind it. And it's built to keep paying forever. Now, I don't do hype, so let me be fair here because this genuinely cuts both ways. Apple's ecosystem is really, really good. That's the whole reason the walls even work. They didn't trick you into anything. The stuff just works. Your watch actually does unlock your Mac. Your photos actually are on every device. The AirPods really do. That magic switching thing, this is not a scam. If anything, it's the opposite of a scam. It's a product so well put together that leaving would honestly make your life worse. That's hard to build. Most companies can't. But here's the bit to hang on to. It's really good, and its designed to trap you are both true at the same time, and that's fine. The convenience is the cage. Every smooth little feature is also a lock. The more of your life you hand to one company just because it's easy, the harder it gets to ever walk away, and the more you'll quietly pay to stay. That's not me telling you to leave Apple. It's me saying, at least know which one you are. A happy resident, or a prisoner who likes the room. All right, let's close the case. Apple looks like a phone company, but it behaves like a landlord collecting rent on 2.5 billion doorways. The iPhone's about half the sales, but a shrinking slice of the profit. The real engine is services. A $100 billion business that keeps 3/4 of every dollar, and only exists because the phone got you through the door and the walls kept you in. The blue bubbles, the photos, the watch, all of it. None of that is an accident. Every piece is there to make leaving feel impossible. So here's your move today, and it's actually a useful one. Look at your own subscriptions and defaults, and not just Apple. Ask the question this whole case is really about. How much of my digital life is stuck with one company just because leaving would be annoying? That, I could never switch feeling? It's worth real money to somebody, usually whoever built the walls. Comment walls when you've checked yours so I know you actually did. And if this changes how you look at that little glass rectangle in your pocket, subscribe, because we've still got Disney, Amazon, and Starbucks sitting in the case file, and every one of them is selling something other than what's on the label. Because the question is never, what does this company sell? It's what business are they really in? Until next time, stay curious.